So thanks everyone for joining today. If you don't know me, my name is Nick Lusson, and I work with Jubaili Bros Solar. I'm based in Nairobi, Kenya. And today's presentation is going to be about the residential solutions, the Huawei residential solutions. So yes, we're going to talk, give you a company introduction of Jubaili Bros and Huawei, and then we'll tell you about the residential smart PV solution, and we'll wrap it up with a summary. So Jubaili Bros has been in business for 43 years, providing power solutions. We are operating in 10 countries. We have over 1,000 employees. And our vision is to be a pioneer in delivering conventional and renewable energy solutions. Our mission is to be trusted by our customers to provide reliable energy solutions delivered through the expertise of our dedicated teams and the support of our global partners. So in Lebanon, where we were dealing mostly with diesel generators. We are also in UAE, in Dubai. We're in Nigeria. We're in Afghanistan, Kuwait, Ghana, Qatar, Uganda, South Africa, Pakistan, and Kenya as well. We have 6 pillars of activity that we use to support our EPC partners. Here they are on the screen. The first pillar is product supply. So we can supply you with some very high quality products. Especially in the solar division, we have high quality solar products that we can supply. The second pillar is training. A lot like this training that we're doing right now. Jubaili Bros offers different kinds of training and different webinars all the time. We have more than one webinar each week. So that can be on a wide variety of topics, especially on the Huawei products and solutions. The third pillar is engineering support. So this means we can look at your solar designs and verify them. We can make sure everything is optimized. We can make sure nothing is duplicated and nothing is missing. So we can make sure that your project designs are properly designed. The fourth pillar is leads, because from time to time, the end users reach out to us and they look for EPC partners. So we're happy to pass those leads on to our certified partners. The fifth pillar is referral to finance. So this means that in the solar industry, we know that sometimes the upfront cost is an obstacle, but there are many organizations who are happy to provide financing. So we are happy to make those introductions. So in case project financing is your problem, we're able to make the right introductions to help you get your projects across the finish line. And the last pillar is after sales support. So this means commissioning support, troubleshooting support, warranty support, and more. So we want to make sure your installations are going well, you're able to commission them, everything is working properly, and your customers are happy. Now we have 4 areas of products that we supply. The first one is Huawei Fusion Solar Inverters and Accessories. The second one is Lumax aluminum mounting structures. So these are mounting structures that can be used on any type of project: roof mount, ground mount, carport, concrete roof, steel roof, whatever. We also have tier 1 solar modules. We're currently supplying Jinko solar modules. These are the #1 solar modules in the world in terms of installed capacity. They're very high performance, very strong warranty. And we also have balance of system components like weather stations, AC combiners, and other things like that. So today we're going to talk mostly about the Huawei inverters. So with Huawei, Jubaili Bros is what's known as a VAP. This is a value added partner. This is the tier 1 partner of Huawei. We handle inquiries up to 100 megawatts for Huawei in our regions. We are also the CSP. CSP means Certified Service Partner. So this is very important because not all VAPs are CSPs. But at Jubaili Bros, we are trained and certified to handle your service-related issues. Okay, so now let's get started on our topic today, which is the residential smart PV solution from Huawei. This is a very innovative range of products. And when Huawei started making inverters, they focused on the utility scale and the CNI scale for several years. But now they have a residential range of inverters and residential storage solution. So it marks a significant change that now they are paying attention to the residential market, and they have provided some very innovative products that I think you're going to see are very powerful and very attractive. So first of all, when we talk about Huawei, most of you know it's a very huge company. In the bottom right of this slide, you can see the yearly revenue. In 2019, it was 120.9 billion US dollars, and you can see the growth year over year. So that's important because you can trust that Huawei is a healthy company. It's not going out of business. It will still be there during the lifetime of your inverter. That's very important for warranties. There's many inverter companies that are very new, very young, and their products have not been tested and their warranties have not been tested. But Huawei will definitely be there to honor the warranty. You can see Huawei has 194,000 employees worldwide. 96,000 of them are in research and development. So this means Huawei is a very innovative company. It's never satisfied with the status quo, always innovating and developing new products and new features. Now, with the inverters, as I mentioned, there's a complete range of inverters. There's residential inverters, CNI inverters, and utility scale inverters as well. So Huawei has a complete range of inverters for you. But today we are talking about the residential inverters. So the residential range of products. They're shown there on the screen, and we'll talk about each one in a little bit more detail. But it's a complete end-to-end solution, including PV optimizers, residential inverters. We have single-phase and three-phase. And then we also have the brand new lithium-ion storage system. This is known as the Luna. The Luna is the residential storage system. It's lithium-ion. So here's a sample line diagram showing all of these pieces working together. We have the PV optimizer. These go on the roof underneath the solar panels. The inverter, as mentioned, we have single phase or three phase. There's a communication device known as a dongle, a smart dongle. This has two models. It has a 4G model that uses a SIM card, or it has a WLAN model. This one can connect to Wi-Fi, or you can plug in an Ethernet cable. The good thing about the residential range of inverters is that the WLAN dongle is included in the box. It's not sold separately. The communication device is included with the residential inverters. Then there's also the Luna. This is the Luna, the residential storage system, lithium ion. We'll talk about this in more detail. We have an accessory known as backup box, and this is to allow the Luna and your inverter to continue working when the grid goes off. So this provides a grid reference. We'll talk about this more in detail shortly. We also have a smart power sensor. So this is a power meter for limiting your export to the grid. So if you need to have zero export to the grid, like in Kenya and many other countries, you need this power meter. And all of it comes with the monitoring platform. It is free to use monitoring platform. There's no subscription fee, no annual charge. So that's the brief overview. Now let's talk about how all of this works together for your optimal electricity cost. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the optimizer. So it's a PV optimizer. It attaches to the back of your solar panels. And basically the function of this optimizer, it's a module level MPPT. So what that means is that typically when there's no optimizer installed, the weakest performing panel limits all of the panels in that string. So if there's shading on one panel, all of the other panels are impacted. With the optimizer, that is no longer the case. When you have the optimizers installed, when there is shadows on one panel, only the panel with the shadows is affected, and all of the other panels can continue to operate at 100%. So this is very helpful in residential solutions, because in residential solutions, these are homes. Most often the home has not been optimized for solar. It may have a very complicated roof. There may be different shading and different angles and different orientations. So that's why Huawei has the philosophy, if the home is not optimized for solar, the equipment must be optimized for the home. So that's what this optimizer allows you to do. When you have limited roof space, when you have complicated roof that has different orientations, you can use this optimizer. You can get up to 30% more energy production. So here's an example. On the screen on the right, where it has the roof and the panels, the orange shaded panels have no optimizer, and the blue panels have the optimizer. So if there's shading over on one side of the roof, if there's no optimizer, all the other panels are affected. But if you do have optimizers, then the other panels can continue to perform at 100%. The other advantage of the optimizer is it allows long string design. That means you can put more panels per string when you have the optimizer. For example, on this example, we're trying to maximize the roof space. So we want to put 25 panels. With the other solution, with no optimizer, you will probably need 2 inverters, because you could only do 11 panels on one string and then 7 panels on another string. And now your inverter is full and you need another inverter. With the optimizers, you can put up to 25 panels in each string. So this means you can increase the DC to AC ratio. So with the optimizers, you can have a DC to AC ratio of 2 to 1. So if you have a 5 kilowatt inverter, with the optimizers, you can have 10 kilowatts of panels. And I'll explain shortly why that is very advantageous. But first, let's take a look at the Luna. This is the residential storage solution from Huawei. It is a lithium-ion storage solution, and it's very innovative. It has very many attractive features. First of all, it is modular design. Each battery module has 5 kilowatt hours of storage. So you can add them in increments of 5 kilowatt hours. There's 2 components. If you see on the left side of the screen, the top part is called the power module. This is the intelligent part of the system. It's like the battery management system. It's also a DC to DC converter. but it protects your battery. It controls the energy going in and out of your battery system. And then you can see below that is the battery itself. These are 5 kilowatt hours each, and it's modular. So you could have 5 kilowatt hours or 10 kilowatt hours or 15 kilowatt hours. Each of these battery modules has built-in optimizers. So each battery module works independently. So regardless of the state of charge or the age of the battery modules, you will get to use all of the power. And in fact, the Luna has 100% depth of discharge. 100% depth of discharge. And with the optimizer on the battery means you get to use all of your energy in the most efficient way possible. If you're familiar with lead acid or sealed gel batteries, the depth of discharge is only 50 or 60%. And the performance of the batteries is limited by the weakest battery. But that's not true with the Luna. All of them work independently, and you get 100% depth of discharge. So now on the screen here, you can see that you are allowed to install 2 towers in parallel operation. This will provide you up to 30 kilowatt hours because each tower can have 15 kilowatt hours. So if you have 2 towers, you can have up to 30 kilowatt hours. You could have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, or 30 kilowatt hours per inverter. Now, the Huawei inverters have a very unique feature. The Huawei inverters can provide power to your AC load and charge your batteries on the DC side at the full rated capacity simultaneously. This means that if you have a 5 kilowatt inverter, you can power your load at 5 kilowatts AC and charge your batteries at 5 kilowatts at the same time. Dual power. So if you compare this to other manufacturers, they cannot do this at the full rated capacity. If you have a 5 kilowatt inverter from other manufacturers, maybe 2 kilowatts can go to your load and 3 kilowatts to your batteries. Huawei gives you the full rated power, AC and DC simultaneously. And this brings me back to the optimizers, the PV optimizers. When I said it, you can take your DC to AC ratio up to 2 times. This is why. Because if you have the 5 kilowatt inverter, you could have 10 kilowatts of panels, and you could put 5 kilowatts into your load and 5 kilowatts into your battery at the same time. This has a big impact on the sizing of your system. You know, you can often use a smaller inverter because of this feature, and that means it's cheaper for you and cheaper for your customer. And while I'm discussing that point of being cheaper, let me just say that these are grid-tied inverters, and they're battery ready also. If you compare to other manufacturers, they often have different inverters for that. They would have a PV grid-tied inverter and a battery inverter. Those are different inverters, and the hybrid battery inverter is usually more expensive. With Huawei, it's the same inverter. So you get the price of the PV grid-tied inverter, but it's battery ready. So this is another way that you get the most efficient, best cost-effective solution. So now let's talk about the safety features of this system. The first one is DC arcing, because in in solar systems, DC arcing is one of the biggest safety threats, and especially when there's batteries involved as well, because the DC arcing can happen from the PV panels or it can happen from the batteries. You can see an image of a DC arc on the screen there. It happens when there's a poor connection or a damaged wire, when the electricity can jump the gap, as you see on the screen. Well, the problem is that that can instantly become 3,000 degrees Celsius. So that is a huge fire hazard. And we've seen this, we've seen very high profile examples of this with Tesla, with Walmart. There's hundreds of millions of dollars of lawsuits going on because of DC arcing. Huawei has a built-in safety feature called AFCI. It's active arcing protection. AFCI is arc fault circuit interruption. Basically, when the arc happens and the spark instantly reaches 3000 degrees Celsius, the entire length of cable will become hot. And Huawei has a built-in temperature sensor built into the inverter. So when one of the cables becomes hot from a DC arc, it will shut down power into that arc in less than 2 seconds. So this exceeds all international safety standards. And even better, the Huawei solution is AI powered. It's artificial intelligence, machine learning. So this means it is constantly getting better at predicting arcs and shutting them down faster. And also it reduces false alarms. So this is the best arc fault safety feature on the market. So this is an example of what it would look like with and without. But I don't think it would work on this software, so we'll continue. Okay, now continuing with the safety, the PV optimizers provide, they have rapid voltage shutdown. In fact, when you have the optimizers installed on the panels, they will have a 0 voltage when the inverter is shut down. This is a very great safety features for technicians when they're on the roof, and also firefighters in case of an emergency. When you have the PV optimizers, it will have 0 voltage on your PV panels. This increases the safety drastically. And when you have the PV optimizers, it can pinpoint detect where the arc faults may be, because typically the arc faults are hiding underneath the solar panels. So you may get an alarm that there's an arc fault somewhere. Now you have to find that arc fault to ensure the safety of the residents. And this can take a lot of time. But with the Huawei solution, with the optimizers, it will give you pinpoint location where the arc fault is. This can save you up to 80% of your operation and maintenance time. Instead of looking for the arc on all the DC cables under the panels, it will tell you exactly where the arc fault is. And as I mentioned before, the battery module has an optimizer as well, but it also has temperature sensors built into the battery module. So the battery module inside, it has 16 battery cells. The chemistry is lithium iron phosphate. And this is one of the best lithium ion chemistries. It's lightweight, it's powerful, and it's very safe. And it operates at a wide temperature range, and it has a very efficient rate of round trip efficiency. Now, with these battery cells, every 2 cells has a temperature sensor. So that means in every battery module, there are 8 temperature sensors. So before any problems occur, before you have any sparks or any arcs or any fires, Huawei has built-in protection to give you the safest solution on the market. With the Huawei solution, this will work even when the grid fails. So our single-phase inverter, when you use the Luna, can operate completely off-grid. It is an off-grid solution and a grid-tied solution. Now, we have an accessory called a backup box. So when you are in a scenario where the grid is connected, but sometimes the grid will fail, you should use this backup box accessory. It will provide the grid reference when the grid fails, so you will continue to get power even when there is no grid. On the 3-phase solution, when the grid fails, you will still have power to your critical loads on a single phase. So your critical loads will continue to have power even when the grid fails. Now let's talk about the better overall experience. So here you can see the Luna. It has a sleek and beautiful design. Huawei spent a lot of time and effort to make it look beautiful because we know this is a residential solution. It will be installed in beautiful homes. So we wanted a solution that people can be proud of, not these car batteries that you have to hide in the garage and it's not quite safe. This is a very safe solution, very beautiful, inspired by a waterfall. And here you can see the residential inverter. Again, a very sleek design. This one was inspired by snowbergs surrounding a lake. It has smooth edges, very sleek, very simple and beautiful and elegant design for your home. And one of the best things about the Huawei residential solution is the end-to-end solution. Everything is coming from one manufacturer. It's an end-to-end. All of the units work together in perfect harmony. So you have the optimizers that go with the panels. You have the inverter. You have the Luna. And all of this can be monitored on a single application. On one app, you can see your PV production, your inverter production, and the state of your batteries. There's no other monitoring solution that can do everything at once. You will usually need a separate monitoring for your batteries and a separate monitoring for your PV. With Huawei, everything is in the same place. So this means it's a better experience for you, the installer, and it's a better experience for the end user. They can see everything simply on their phone in one place. And then if there's any troubleshooting or any alerts or alarms, it's on the same place. So this makes your experience much, much better. And when you are commissioning the system with the app, it auto detects the other components in the system. It auto detects the optimizers, it auto detects the power meters and the inverters and the batteries. So you don't have to commission every item individually. You scan a barcode or a QR code on one item, whether it's the dongle or the inverter. You scan one QR code and it auto detects all the rest of your devices. So this can save you a ton of time on the installation and commissioning process. Yeah, and when you have the optimizer, it gives you the option to do a physical layout. So you can input the physical layout of the PV panels. This is another benefit for your end user. They're able to see and understand exactly how their system is performing. And it also helps for the troubleshooting and O&M in the future. And this again is showing you the residential inverter with the communication device. It's a dongle. It's a USB stick. It looks like a flash disk. USB device. You simply plug it into the inverter and there's a screw cap so it remains waterproof. That's all. It can connect to the Wi-Fi if there's Wi-Fi available. You can plug in an Ethernet cable, or if that's not available, you can choose the 4G model and you can use a SIM card. The WLAN dongle is included with the residential inverters. So the residential inverters, let me see if there's a slide that will show this. No. Okay. Yes, at the end. I'll tell you the sizes of the residential inverters and you can see that even more clearly. But these residential inverters, they're very, very reliable. And one reason they're very reliable is because Huawei has identified several parts that tend to fail faster than the rest of the inverter. So these parts are buttons, LCD screens, and fuses. Typically in inverters, these these parts will not last the full lifetime of the inverter, because the inverter is supposed to last around 20 years. Buttons and LCD screens won't last that long. They only last like 7 or 8 years. So they're causing downtime, they're causing maintenance and problems. So Huawei designed their inverters with no buttons, no LCD screens, and no fuses. This contributes to high reliability, high availability, and a low failure rate. Another great feature of these inverters, the residential inverters have no moving parts. There's no fans. So they operate almost silently, very, very quiet. These can be installed in a library and they won't disturb anyone. There's no fan for cooling because Huawei has designed this special natural cooling mechanism. It's called a variable thickness heat sink. So you can see it there on the right side of the screen. It looks like a barcode. These are metal fins that allows the air to pass through, and it removes the heat very effectively from the inverters. So there's no moving parts. It's natural cooling. It removes the heat with the flow of air almost silently. So these have a failure rate of less than 0.5%, which means out of 1,000 inverters, less than 4 will have an issue. Extremely reliable, high availability. And with the app, it's a very robust monitoring app. It will give you a visualization of the power flow, of all the energy that's coming from the panels to your load. If there's energy coming from the grid or to the grid, you'll be able to see it. You get string level information, but if you have the PV optimizers, you will get module level information. So you will get to know exactly which modules are performing and how they are performing. And also you get the historical data, the real-time data. You can see your grid consumption, your solar production, all of that. So in summary, when you use the Huawei residential solution, it's a way to upgrade your solar experience because you get more efficient production with the PV optimizer. You get more efficient storage because of the Luna has built-in optimizers as well. You have the dual power feature of the inverter, so you can make use of your power very efficiently. You have the best safety features with the AI-powered arcing protection. Also, the module level the voltage shutdown from the PV optimizers, where you can have 0 voltage on your roof when the inverter is shut down. You can also get the pinpoint arcing feature. So if there's an arc fault, you will know exactly where it is. But you also get the benefits of the end-to-end solution. All one size fits all. Everything is made by Huawei. Very easy to use, easy to install, easy to troubleshoot. You also get the auto detection of all of the devices, so commissioning is very easy. And with the natural cooling, and it's a touch-free operation. There's no buttons, there's no LCD screen. Everything is easy, simple, and reliable. So now on the screen, we can see the full range of the residential package. So let's start on the left side. Across the middle there where you see the products, on the left side, this is our single-phase inverter. We have 2 kilowatt, 3 kilowatt, 4 kilowatt, 5 kilowatt, 6 kilowatt. Single phase inverter, 2 kilowatt through 6 kilowatt, single phase. Then we have our residential 3-phase. So this one we have 3 kilowatt, 4 kilowatt, 5 kilowatt, 6 kilowatt, 8 kilowatt, 10 kilowatt. 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10. 3-phase residential inverter. Then the next product there is the Luna. Remember, there's 2 pieces. We have the power module, which is the intelligent part. Then we have the battery module. Each battery module has 5 kilowatt hours of storage. You can have a tower of 3 battery modules. So you can have up to 15 kilowatt hours with a single power module. And then you can have another tower with 3 more if you like. The next product there is the PV optimizer that is installed on the back of the solar panels. As I said earlier, it's a module level MPPT, providing up to 30% more power if you have a complicated roof, limited roof space, and so on. The next product there in the middle is the backup box. This allows your inverter to continue working even when the grid fails. So these are grid-tied inverters, but if you have the backup box, they can continue to work without the grid. The next device shown there is the dongle. It's a USB communication device. You simply plug it into your inverter like a USB stick, and it has a screw cap to maintain the IP66 rating. And it can communicate through Wi-Fi or through Ethernet or through 4G with the other model. The residential inverters have this device built in the box, so you do not have to buy it separately. The WLAN dongle comes with the residential inverters, no additional cost. Next, we have the smart power sensor. This is a power meter, and it is used mainly to limit export to the grid. So if you need to limit your export to the grid, this is the device for you. The next, you see the Fusion Solar app. This is the same app for commissioning, and it's the same app for monitoring and troubleshooting. So it's a very robust app. It's streamlined. It makes everything so easy. You can commission in a very short time, and it's a very good experience for you to monitor, to do troubleshooting, and also for your end user, very easy for them to use as well. And the last image there is the monitoring portal, because this Fusion Solar is accessible on the desktop and your mobile phone. So there's a desktop portal and a mobile phone app. You can access it through both. And it's no additional charge. It's free. It's free to use, free to install. That's it. So that brings us to the end of this presentation. So I hope you enjoyed today's presentation. I hope you learned a lot. And now we're going to go through the Q&A, the questions that are in the chat box. So if you have any questions, please type them in the chat box, and let's get started here. Okay, so we have a question. It says, what is the effect on Luna operation if one of the cell inside battery, excuse me, if one of the cell inside battery is degraded to 95% state of health? If one of the cells degrades, so there's optimizers built into the battery. Each battery module has optimizers built in. So each cell will continue to operate at 100%, even if there's one cell that is degraded. So this is a very good feature because we know that cells degrade from time to time, especially if you're trying to add a new battery module to an existing installation. Let's say if you have an installation that's 1 year old, 2 years old, and you want to increase the battery, that's perfectly fine, because you can, each battery module will operate independently. So even if one of the cells degrades, all of the others will continue to perform 100%. Okay, so let's see here. That's the only question marked as a question. Let me go through the other side. There, I'll mark that as a question. So now I can publish this one. Okay. The availability of inverter for a project which could fit the following scenario. The AC load has to be supplied only from solar panels during daytime, about 10 hours. During daytime, the solar generation has to feed the load. No other source, no batteries. Whereas the national grid could feed the load during night hours. Okay, that's no problem. That's a simple grid-tied scenario. You don't need batteries. That's a very common installation, no difficulty at all. I'm not sure what else to say about that. It's absolutely possible. It's very common. Grid-tied operation. No problem at all. Okay. Okay, I don't see any more questions. I'll just stay on for a few more minutes in case any questions come in. If you have no more questions, then this presentation is over. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for attending. We would love to hear from you. Please follow us on LinkedIn. Please reach out to us if you have any more questions. I'll also take this opportunity to tell you about Huawei Certification. You can become a Huawei Certified installer. We have an online training program. It's free. And then you have to take an exam. It's a very difficult exam, but the training is there. So if you want to become a Huawei Certified installer, please reach out to us on LinkedIn. We'll send you the registration link. You just have to go through the training. We'll send you all the details, and then we'll send you a link to an exam. I see that's from Rua again. He's asking, I mean, during daytime only from solar. Yes, there's no challenge with that. There's absolutely no challenge, Rua. It's absolutely possible. No other AC source. That's fine. You just have to design the system properly, and it's no problem. So yes, all of you will be receiving this presentation in your email after when this presentation is over. So I see another question here. What services JB Solar provide after Huawei certification? Well, I mean, we have those 6 pillars of activity that I told you about. We supply products, we do training, we can verify your designs through engineering support, we can provide leads to our partners from time to time, we can refer to finance if you need financing for your solar projects, and we do commissioning support, after-sales support, warranty support, troubleshooting support, all of that. Those are the services that we provide. Here we have another question. Can other than Luna batteries can be used with Huawei Inverter? No. No. So, okay, the short answer is no. The long answer is that the single-phase inverters, the single-phase can use LG Chem batteries as well. The 3-phase Huawei inverters can only work with the Luna. Single phase, you can use the Luna or LG Chem Resu 7H, I think. But basically, no. These are high voltage batteries, 800 volts DC, very unique solution. Okay, I don't see any more questions coming in. So again, reach out to us on LinkedIn. We'd love to hear your feedback. If you enjoyed this webinar, please let us know. If you have any suggestions for topics for webinars, please let us know. If you enjoyed it or if there's things we can improve, let us know. If you want to do the Huawei certification, tell us and we will send you the registration link. I'm going to stay on just a couple more minutes in case there's other questions. So I hope you all enjoyed very well. Hope you learned something. Okay, I don't see any more questions, so I'm going to end this now. Okay, I see Rua saying how to have the training. I guess you're speaking about the Huawei certification. send us an email or send us a LinkedIn message, and we will send you the link to register. Once you register, you will get the information in your email. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate your time and your attention. We would love your feedback. We would love to work with you in the future. So reach out to us if there's anything we can do for you. Other than that, I wish you all the best. Good luck. Stay safe. Have a great day and have a great rest of the year. Cheers.